Happy Easter. I'm so proud of myself. So far, I have done much better than I did at Christmas. I was really working hard to get to Easter at Christmas. But we're at Easter. Truly a day of celebration when we do lift up our songs and with all the music, beautiful music, singing, flowers, Easter finery, crowds of people. What a celebration that we choose and we know, and we are so grateful. And what we're here today for is to give God thanks for the power of the resurrection that was revealed in Jesus, for life eternal. And that regardless of where we find ourselves in our world and in our lives, that one, Christ is present with us, and that God will continue to sustain and provide for us and to care for us. I can't imagine how Mary felt. She had a horrible 72 hours, and the week hadn't been real good either. But to witness the one that she was willing to anoint his feet with the expensive perfume, that the one that she cared for, the one that was beloved, the one who cared for her family had been put to death on a cross at the hands of the Romans. She was probably there. We don't know for certain, but she knew where the tomb was. So somehow she was probably there when they took his body off the cross and put it in the new tomb. And the stone had been rolled in front of it. And after that had happened, she waited and waited. You know, I don't know how it would feel to be the disciples. We've talked about it a little bit, that one completely denied Jesus, one turned him into the Roman authorities, and the others just scattered hither and yon. I mean, from what accounts we can put together from the Gospels, we think that Mary and Mary Magdalene, Jesus' mother, and the disciple John were at the foot of the cross. Jesus asked John to take care of his mother. Nobody else seems to be mentioned, unless I missed somebody. But Mary was there, and they put him in the tomb, and they rolled the stone in front of it. What she knew, what she had experienced, what she saw in Jesus the Christ was over. I can only imagine how it was on Sunday morning, early in the morning. I don't know how many of you woke up this morning way before the alarm went off. Or was that just the preachers? Thinking about Easter. But early in the morning, and for her to wake up and say, I know what needs to be done. Jesus has died, and I want to care for him as best I can as culture provides. So she went to the tomb. Other Gospels include other Marys, 3 women going to the tomb. It does say that we do not know where they laid him, so we assume that somebody else besides Mary was there from that context in John, to care for him as cultural and the norms of society. And when she gets there, the stone is already away. Without even looking in, she wants to know where Jesus is. What have they done with her beloved friend? And she goes and runs to Peter and John. We think, says the disciple whom Jesus loved, we think that's who it is in John. We're not sure, scholarship, if you really want to dig deep. But we think that's who was there. At least he gets there in a hurry. And they go back to the tomb, and she's standing there outside of it. John gets there first, and Peter, being Peter, just busts right on in. And they see the grave clothes that are laid there. The linen wrapping that was on his face laid off to the side by itself. Some scholarships say that that's where the Holy Spirit, the linen wrapping was moved from the face cloth so that the Holy Spirit could re-enter into Jesus. Maybe the scholarship suggests that. We don't know. Wasn't there. But they get there, and John sees and believes instantly. He thinks he understands what's going on. How in the world he does that, I would never know. I don't think I would. Even if I had been right there at Jesus, traveling with him, walking with him, dining, eating with him, seeing everything that had gone on, I'm not sure I would fully understand. Maybe you would, but I don't think I would. This is not what I expect. John believes. Peter, they go back home. They're done. Mary is left. They're weeping, sobbing. Suddenly, two angels appear. Suddenly, she turns. Jesus asked her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" Well, they've moved him somewhere. I don't know where it is. And he calls out to her by name, Mary. And she knows with an instant who it is, but still doesn't understand how it is. Mary. The power of naming is always so important. When you get to know somebody, when you know about them a little bit, names are an important thing. We begin to move through that and we experience that. But when we actually hear our name being called by Jesus, it changes us. Sometimes that's hard to hear in a busy world, but I think it still happens. We still hear God's call upon our lives. I mean, certainly you were here this morning. You felt that call and that nudge and that push. So it might have been through a parent or grandparent, or it might have been through a child, but that's prevenient grace working even before we realize it, pushing us toward praise. But Jesus called out to Mary, do not touch me. I've not yet ascended to my Father. Wait, things have changed. I'm not the same person I was. I'm the resurrected Christ, alive forevermore, a gift to the world, all the world. We learn later what happens with the disciples. They come back together, they're in the upper room, those things could go on, and they begin to see Jesus in different places. But this is the first news of the resurrection from Mary. I have seen the Lord. The pronouncement of his presence in the world to the disciples as a witness to the resurrection and the power of God at work in the world. I have seen the Lord. And our lives forever changed. Easter isn't a time, it's impossible to do enough to be able to fully proclaim the gratitude and thanksgiving that we have for God for the power of the resurrection. We could have a whole bunch more flowers. We could have a full, huge orchestra, although you did a beautiful job, you and Susan both, playing our hymns, and y'all sang wonderfully. But it wouldn't be enough. I'm always grateful for the people, especially those that are behind the scenes, that make Easter and holidays so special for us. Make a difference, just a little extra on our behalf to make it different and special. Those I always say thank you. And that's part of what we're here today for, is to offer our thanksgiving and to offer our praise and celebration for God offering to us free life, life eternal, through the work of the cross, the forgiveness of sins, the hope of today's and tomorrow's. When we look around on our world, sometimes it feels like, I don't know, maybe you're not that way, but I am. It feels like the stone's rolled in front of us. That there's just no way through it, around it, over it, under it. Things seem a little bit challenging and distorted from the view of the gospel, what we're called to do and who we're called to be. And yet in our lives, over and over again, maybe this is why we need Easter as a yearly reminder, and every Sunday is a little bit of Easter, that we're reminded of the goodness of God that God offers to us and to the whole world. that we allow him to be our mold and model, the one who we chase after, the one we seek to be like, the author and perfecter of our faith, for our todays and for tomorrows, for to face the future unafraid, knowing that Christ's presence is with us. Easter's that celebration. We get it. We understand it. That's why we're here. In gratitude and thanksgiving, we continue to offer our praise and our witness and our lives and all that we are to God in response to our thankfulness of all that God has done for us. All glory, honor, and power be to the one who was, who is, and who is to come.